This and every episode of REKT Podcast is brought to you by Beaksy Exchange, an upcoming cryptocurrency exchange built in collaboration with One Market Data. Beaksy is bringing legacy finance speed, power, and sophistication to crypto for the first time. With 225,000 transactions per second per pair, comparable to NASDAQ, 15 order types on day one, with 25 order types on full rollout, and a dedicated customer support team, Beaksy is setting itself apart from the competition. Check out Beaksy today at Beaksy.com and pre-register today at Beaksy.com/registration to get your free Beaksy Exchange tokens. That's Beaksy.com, BEAXY.com.
I'm Gat, and this is REKT.
Hello and welcome to REKT Podcast. I am Bunchu alongside my esteemed colleague and co-host, Crypto Chamber. Chamber, how are you, buddy?
Doing pretty good. Got a belly full of, I tried a new recipe out today.
Oh.
And it's Nashville hot chicken. Have you ever heard of this?
I mean, I've been to Nashville and had hot chicken.
I made it at home. I gotta tell you, pretty good. I mean, it's probably not Nashville level, but I thought it was pretty tasty.
What would be the Canadian equivalent of Nashville?
Calgary?
Oh, so you made Calgary hot chicken tonight.
Calgary hot moose, I think is what it's called.
The Calgary hot moose, also something you can only ask for on your birthday.
That's right.
And we are here with a very special guest, Gat. Gat, how are you, man?
I'm doing really good. You know, we just had 2 great days in the market. I'm glad to be on the podcast with you guys.
Heck yeah, and we are happy to have you. I mean, we can just go right into the market. Before we even get into any questions, we've had 2 days like we...
I don't want to jinx, I don't want to talk about it.
I know, but we kind of have to. We have 2 days that we haven't seen like this in quite some time. Give us your input on what we're doing here. Where do you think the market's going? You know, we're not going to hold you to anything, but what do you see here?
So I do see this as a short-term trend reversal. I kind of agree with some of the other people you see on Twitter. Like, I think Ethereum's going to 220, 240 in the short term, and I think Bitcoin up to about 4,900. I mean, today we're testing this really tough resistance, and we haven't tested the resistance like this before. Usually it's like a little pump and then a kind of grind up and it's pretty weak, no volume. But like today I saw was the most volume ever traded for Ethereum on BitMEX. Bitcoin volume is pretty decent, but what I've noticed also is like on CNBC and in the news there's a lot of really positive coverage, and I've also noticed a lot of like hedge funds and different money advisors saying that they're keeping an eye on Bitcoin if it can get above 3,750. So, you know, if you can cascade this into some funds and some people on Wall Street saying it might be a good time to enter Bitcoin for a short to mid-term move, I mean, you're going to get that mainstream FOMO, and you see what happened with Ethereum the last 2 days. It's like 40%. You know, you can get that 20 or 30% day a few days in a row, and I think, you know, we're just going to put ourselves right around 220 for Ethereum.
That's interesting. So when you say short to mid-term, what do you mean there?
I don't think that the bear market is over if you define the bear market as it's a bear market and then it's a bull market. You know, I think that the bottom is most likely in. We might go back down in the range of the bottom, but I don't think we're going to really get that severe capitulation we did like we saw from 6K to 3K. I think we're, you know, in a sideways market. We're going to have a few ups, a few downs while everything continues to develop.
Now, like, how long do you see that sideways? Because I would even say, you know, personally, obviously it's great to jump from 3,300 to 4,500, but I would even think that that's still kind of range bound a little bit, you know, in what we can expect maybe long term. So, you know, how do you how do you play that? How do you look at that?
So for me, I'm just really trying to focus on the trend. You know, the last 2 or 3 months, I've really taken a step back from doing research, and I've been working on my trading a lot. And something I noticed I was doing wrong was trying to fight the trend. You know, I got a little too engulfed in the industry. I was doing a lot of work in it, and I just had this bullish bias. So I'm really trying to just play the trend. Like today, it's pretty clear, you know, or the last few days, it's pretty clear. Like we have a reversal. Short term, alts look bullish, at least the majors. Bitcoin and Ethereum, you know, you could have bought it at any time in the last 2 days and made a profit. So I'm really just going to try and trade the trend and try and avoid trading the chop.
The trend is your friend, as they say. Right?
And I tried to fight it for so long, but
I find myself doing that all the time, and not in a trading aspect, just kind of like in general. I got into crypto in a sports betting way, and my biggest thing was always, I'm just going to fade the public. And I just tried to do, because the house always wins, right? So I just tried to put myself on the side of the house, and I think that's kind of been kind of the way I think about crypto too, which is not always the right way.
No, I know what you mean. I've done some sports betting, and it is really crazy. You know, when you see these games that have significant portions of the money on it by the public, Vegas always cleans up.
Right.
And I don't know why, but I learned that as well. But I think it's a really common theme in crypto, and why so many people butt heads is a lot of us are the type of person that, or a contrarian, you know, we like to stick out, we like to kind of fight the norms. And so I've noticed that over time, and I think that's why there's so much, you know, beef on crypto Twitter.
Oh,
just
boy.
the types of people on there.
So much beef.
So much salty.
We're all really similar personality types. You know, if you've taken a personality test, like one of the rarest ones is INTP and INTJ, and I posted it, and I've like everyone was the same one, and I've never met another person in my life that's tested into that. So.
That's really funny, actually, because I don't remember what I was, but we actually on the podcast like 6 months ago took that personality test, and we actually like went through ours and what other people's were, and that was really interesting. Chamber, you know, I feel like everybody in this space is a contrarian, right? Like we are
I don't
contrarians.
Agree with that.
Well, no, but you son of a bitch. But like, I feel like, you know, to Gat's point, we are all contrarians just for being here. So then you put a bunch of contrarians in a fucking tunnel vision crypto Twitter, and
then everyone's trying to be the contrarian versus the public, and then you're all agreeing, and you can't all agree, obviously.
It's so true.
Yeah, then it gets salty, and then people start posting charts, and everybody's happy again. I have not seen this many charts in a very, very long time on Twitter. Like, it is chart season right now. So
can we like rename alt season chart season?
Yeah.
You know, maybe that's the hashtag already for today's episode. If it doesn't get any better than this, it's hashtag chart season.
I like hashtag chart season.
But anyway, all right. So that's your look on the market. Gat, give us, how did you get into crypto? Like, what were you doing before all this crazy shit? Like, how did you get here?
So that's a fun story I like to tell. So I actually ended up being reintroduced to crypto because I was trying to avoid failing at class. While I was in college, about 2.5 years ago, there was an attendance-based class. I never had great attendance, and it was just strictly like, you go to class, you get 1 point every time you show up, and that's it. There's like 16 points throughout the semester. So they were like, you can make it up to us by going to one of these guest lectures. And so there's a guest lecture at my school. It's that guy from CNBC, Brian Kelly, the one who taught everyone how to buy and sell Ripple, you know?
I would totally go to a Brian Kelly guest lecture, though. I would go.
I wish I remembered the name. It was such a funny name. It was like cryptocurrency and the decentralization of the future. You know, one of those names that's just like begging people to come. And so I'm like, fuck it, I'll go to this. No problem. So I get there, and this is before the major bull run, like April 2017. And this guy's talking about Bitcoin and crypto and the benefits of it, and I was just like, you are the craziest person ever, or you are extremely intelligent. So obviously I go back to my house after, I start looking it up, and the next day I'm like on the phone at what was it, a Walgreens, the little red phone, trying to buy Bitcoin through
amazing.
through the MoneyGram. Because when I used it in 2013, like you could only buy it through MoneyGram. So I'm sitting on this little red phone, and then people tell me try Coinbase, and then that's really how it all just got started. You guys want to make fun of me? The first thing I bought was the Superman TA course for $10.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's okay. No judgment here.
So
I've made some poor decisions myself.
No, it's just funny. Like the first things that I got into, that was the first thing I bought, and then I followed some YouTube guys that, obviously had no clue what they were talking about, into some really random coins. And so my first couple weeks were obviously very up and down. I was in all these complete shit coins. But learning about the tech is what really got me to stay. Because I was in school for business and computer science, and I really like computer science, so getting to actually learn about blockchain was really interesting, and I think that's what kept me in, because the first few weeks I lost most of the money I put in. I mean, it was a small amount, but trading definitely didn't keep me there at the start.
So
So you had said the little red phone for MoneyGram. That's how you had heard about it in 2013. So take us back there. Where did that come from?
2013, I just helped some people buy Bitcoin. They were obviously using it for the only
talking
purposes
Silk Road?
Yeah. So I just helped some people buy it because they couldn't figure out how to do it with the wallet. I mean, 2013, people weren't very good with computers for the most part.
That's interesting. So you knew about Bitcoin in 2013.
Yeah, I probably bought like 700 Bitcoin, out $4 each. I mean, I didn't keep any of them because I was just getting paid to buy them and show people how to use the wallet.
Got it. Right.
But,
so you were the intermediary, essentially.
I was an intermediary.
You were GAT-base, Coinbase.
I think my fee was like a little bit more than Coinbase, but
oh my god, Coinbase is basically highway robbery.
I know, they're like 4%. See, people don't even know that you can just pull up Coinbase Pro and there's no fees.
Yes. Did you know that, Chamber?
Yes, I did know that, actually.
Okay, good, because that's something everybody should know.
Because you can also just buy... Can't you also just buy USDT on Coinbase and it's zero fee, too?
So you can deposit US dollars and then trade anything on Coinbase Pro for free.
Yeah, if you're doing it on the Coinbase app, that's where they make all their money. Yeah, and they take a sizable amount.
They take like 4%. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts.
That's right. I'm going to lose 12%. So
well, so now it's cost you 16%. That's funny. So, all right. So that's how you had first even known about it, 2013. Then you see Brian Kelly, which is fantastic.
Terrific. He tells you to buy Ripple, and then what happened?
he actually did not mention Ripple once. He only talked about Bitcoin.
Interesting.
That's interesting. So what were like his key takeaways that made you say, wow, this is something?
So it was a business seminar, so he really focused on the financial applications more than the tech. And, he just talked a lot about, settlement periods, transferring money between borders, and the fees associated with that. And, that's what really got me thinking, because I didn't know a lot of that stuff. And it's really crazy, how inefficient it is to send money.
Yeah, no kidding. Isn't that wild? Like, I just read something, this is probably 6 months ago, maybe a year, where it would take you less time to fly $10,000 to Germany than it would be to wire transfer $10,000 to Germany. Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
And bringing $10,000 cash on a plane, international, doesn't make you look too great.
No.
Exactly. So that's cool. So then what got you from there to being GAT, where you are now?
So obviously I started trading once I found Bitcoin, I found altcoins, and really just the opportunity there. I mean, that was the time where coins were going up like 200% in minutes. There's a ton of pump groups around, really crazy stuff going on in the market. And so I kind of saw it as an opportunity to, maybe I can take this small little sum of money and turn it into something. So, the main problem I had at first was I didn't have any friends interested at all, so I had no one to talk to, and that's why I made a Twitter, to follow people and try and make some internet friends. I guess that sounds weird. But then I found
it's all I have
weird.
now.
Yeah, it's not weird.
It was
My
weird
best friends
then.
are internet friends.
It's not weird anymore. So then basically after 2 months, I met some friends and we started to learn TA together, and we created a group because, we were like, there's all these pump groups. That's stupid. Why don't people actually look into coins and try and trade them based on Catalyst? Now, at the time, a Catalyst was like a wallet update. It was much different then. But so then we kind of created a group and we shared fundamental research. Very primitive, but that's how it really got started. We got about 1,000 people in the group, and then we started to promote our Twitters through the group, and it just grew really quick. Some of the calls that we made were really spot on. Obviously, it was a crazy market at the time, but I don't even remember the movement from like a Twitter with 500 followers to 1,000 to 5,000. It must have been a span of like 3 weeks.
Wow,
that's crazy. Still waiting for that 3,000.
Meanwhile, me and Chamber took. Let's put it this way: in a bear market, it takes you approximately 9 months, 16 days, 28 hours to break from 1,800 to 2,000.
Yeah, really grinding it out here.
I have the same exact number of followers as I did in July, which is
really
just
there
77.7. I don't know how. Like, I must just get like net 0 every week.
I'm telling you, that's what it's like in this market. Like, so what do you think it will? I mean, just playing off that exact thing, what do you think it'll take to bring the next round?
When am I going to get 10K?
Yeah, but not even like about followers, obviously. But like, what is it going to take to bring the next round of people in?
It's really, in my opinion, just going to take some green. The mainstream public and new people, they don't really care about the tech. They want to see the opportunity to make money. Like, you saw the way that everyone FOMO'd in during the last bull market. You saw the way that everyone FOMO'd into the weed market, at least U.S. and Canada stocks. Really, once there's just a bunch of coverage of coins having really good return, you're going to get a bunch of new people. It's going to be interesting, though, how they find Twitter, because that's not your traditional source of information. Like, none of my friends use Twitter.
Correct.
No.
They always end up there.
It took me... I said this before on the show. I think it took me 6 months of me literally the same way you did. I had no friends that were interested in crypto, or at least that I knew that were interested in crypto. And 6 months later, I found crypto Twitter after doing, months and months of research and rabbit holing by myself. And then you find this essentially endless, I don't even know what to call it. I don't know if I should call it a, like catacomb. I was going to say, I don't know if I should call it like this catacomb that's going to lead you to freedom, or a fucking, just the opposite of that, or a death spiral.
Yeah.
And so, then you start following all these people, and there's some FOMO that comes along with crypto Twitter in your first encounter, and I've fallen prey to that, definitely.
100%. That's actually the reason I started making videos and putting out content, was because I had this period of time where I had no way to find any sort of information. I had nobody to talk to about what's going on in the space. And on top of that, there were so few resources to learn. Like, right now, there's a lot of really good resources that are free, mostly on YouTube and other sites, where if you know nothing about crypto and trading, you can learn pretty easily. But 2 years ago, when I was trying to learn, there was not shit. Like I said, I was directed to Supoman's TA course.
Right.
That's the only thing I could find.
Content.
Quality content.
That's wild. All right, so you had never traded before, correct?
I traded the stock market a little bit. I traded natural gas and gold when I was like 18 and 19. Mixed success, but I had never really like done a lot of TA and research.
So here's my question. For people that are new, and there's going to be a ton of people that are listening that maybe don't consider themselves new right now, but there will be a ton of other people that are new. How do they get, what's the best resources to learn two things, trading and about crypto in general, and what is your advice to those people?
So the best resource I've found for trading is actually a book I just read. It's called The Technical Analysis of Financial Markets, I believe, and if you know nothing about TA, that will really just catch you up to basically everything, all basic pattern structures, market psychology, and everything. So that on top of just, find someone that you connect with on YouTube. They might not be the best trader, but just a strategy that you like. Find someone who is specialized in it and makes videos about it, and just watch them and see, where do they find success, where do they find failure, and then you can go on a chart and back test it. I'd say the biggest mistake that everyone makes at first, including myself, is you try and trade too quickly, you try and trade with too much risk, or you try leverage trading before you know what you're doing. And I've fallen victim to all of those. And so if there's one thing I could say to new people is learn how to trade before you trade with any significant portion of your portfolio.
So I've heard a couple different takes on that. Like in order to really learn, you need to have some skin in the game. Where do you land on that?
That's how I learned. I've always kind of been that way, is I learned the hard way. So, I went through the bull market, thought I could trade, and then I went through the bear market, found out that, the techniques I learned in the bull market were not effective in a bear market, and it took me a long time to adapt. And then, like I said, I recently just took some time off to really hone down on my TA, figure out what I was doing wrong, and kind of just recollect.
So, one more question, TA related. What do you say to people who basically say TA doesn't matter?
I used to think it was fake, but now I've realized that TA is basically everything from a fundamental perspective and a psychological perspective put into some candlesticks. When there's something, a big catalyst that you don't know about, someone probably knows about it before you, and
Sure.
The chart is starting to break out and there's volume on it. It's always there. And so I used to think TA was fake, and then now that I've taken a step back and read some books on it, everything you need really is on the chart, if you use it the right way.
Yeah, I think that's super interesting. Chamber, you've been learning your TA.
I have been learning.
How do you
TA.
feel about it now?
You know what? I never really thought it was, bullshit. I always thought, I think when I first got in, the FA side meant a little bit more, I think. But the more you do it, the more it confirms it as you learn more. You know what I mean? As you start to pick up the little tricks and how to read the charts properly, it confirms the fact that, it does work. And I think people that maybe don't believe it, maybe just have to do it a little bit to see, where the resistances are and how it's going to act. But I think the more you do it, the more you see that it obviously works. And I think you use that as just one of the tools. It doesn't have to be just one tool. I think it's one of many tools, but I think it works well.
It's all mental. You have to think that it works and really trust whatever system you have for it to work. Because some of the biggest trades that I've missed or I was on the wrong side of was because I doubted myself, or I saw someone else's viewpoint and it changed my mind. If you're going to use TA, you really need to trust yourself and kind of have pretty tough mental stability.
Yeah, you definitely need to be a robot.
Yeah, I wish I was a robot sometimes.
Look, there's things that benefit you in trading, and one of those things, without a doubt, is risk management and discipline. And I have neither.
Yeah.
I have neither of those things. So I certainly am not a good trader. I am never going to claim to be one. The people that are amaze me because they have a level of discipline that I cannot have.
I had a conversation with somebody about discipline the other day. It had nothing to do with crypto, but the way you measured your discipline, your self-discipline, is how long you wait to go to the, to do your business once everybody's out of the house. When you have that alone time to yourself, you can measure your
distance. How does this work? Wait, hold on. Come.
The faster, to me. You know exactly what I'm saying. The faster you accomplish your mission, the lower the amount of self-discipline you have. The longer, or it's up to, if you do have the house to yourself and you don't, very high discipline level.
Oh, all right. Well, now you just blew my mind. At first, I thought we were talking about going to the bathroom.
No. You know what I'm talking about.
We're talking about
doing a number 3.
Right. The number 3. Got it. Cool.
Discipline is very important. I mean, that's definitely one of my biggest problems still. I still don't consider myself I'm not disciplined enough. If I was more disciplined, things would be a lot easier. I'm sure everyone says that, though. But, it's just something that takes time. You got to learn from your mistakes. You got to have some pretty tough trades, that you weren't disciplined on, and you got to just eat it, and that's how you learn.
Yeah, I mean, I'll liken this to, just very quickly, our friends over at Hero, they're running that game right now where I'm addicted to it 100%. I'm playing it almost all the time. And I took a really long time to grow my stack to a point where I was like, oh, this is so awesome. I have a stack that's worth something. On Saturday, I blew it up. I just fucking destroyed it. I had no discipline. I was like, oh, I'm just going to press my bets here. Like I was playing fucking craps at the casino. It was terrible. So I blew up like half my stack. I'm sitting here grinding it back. But anyway, all right, let's move on. So we have to ask you, we asked this to all of our guests here. What would be your biggest crypto REKT story?
I don't know. I don't think one sticks out.
No?
No, I'm just messing around. Obviously, the biggest one was when all of those conversations got leaked. Like right after that, everyone I was working with didn't want to work with me. It was a very difficult time to go through. I'll get on to another side of the story that no one's really heard yet. It will be exclusive for you guys.
Yeah.
But, basically, like, there's no way to defend it. What was said in that conversation was really wrong, but it was such a hostile time on Twitter. Like, people don't understand that was almost a conversation between friends. Like, if anyone's conversations got leaked, there's going to be language in there that is definitely wrong. Not trying to defend that, what we were saying wasn't right, or was right, but it just got really hammered down. And that was definitely my crypto REKT story. Everyone started unfollowing me. Everyone was talking to me for months. I still get some DMs, pretty cruel ones.
So, how did the whole thing come to be? I mean, I know what I saw, like from where it came from and all that, but like tell your side of the story.
So basically that guy Coin Signals, he was the big BitMEX trader. He came to us and was like, I have a really good altcoin pick that I think we should buy. I'm talking with some people OTC. I want to buy a large amount of it. He essentially was telling us like, look, I know the tech of this coin. I know it's going to be really big. I know someone's selling a lot of it, a miner. We should buy as much as we can. And so that was kind of the premise. It wasn't like, let's tell everyone to buy this and spike up the price and shit. Like, it was literally just, I have a really good coin pick. We should all buy this. At the time, obviously, I did not know that Coin Signals was a scammer.
Well, I was going to say, so this
ran
guy
away with
turns
like an
out
$8 million fund. Yeah, so at the time, like, he was very highly respected for his trading. He had a BitMEX fund. He was performing really well. So we're all in this group, and these are guys I've talked to for a long time, and we're all just like joking around in there. But that guy Crypto Medicated got in actually because he wanted a job with Bravado. I introduced him to Birch. He was a pretty good analyst at the time. We didn't know that he was absolutely nuts. Like, the dude was absolutely nuts. So that's how he was introduced, just from DMing me. But basically it ended up he was just on a clout mission. He's a good writer, so he basically exposed all of the conversations that we were having. Obviously, they looked pretty bad. If you know the premise of the story, where I'm sure you've had conversations with your friends, like, this is a really good coin, we need to buy a lot of it. You know, everyone has those conversations. And he kind of just framed it in a way with his words that, like, we were the biggest scammers in the world, biggest pieces of shit, you know, like, these are who you're listening to. And when you're a good writer and you got a bunch of angry people that just came off the bull market, it really got carried away. Like, I was getting death threats. I got hacked.
No kidding.
Weren't you on a flight when it hit too?
Yeah, I had actually I was flown out to London for to meet with BlockX. They were an ICO. I think it's down like 99.8%. But you know, they had a 100-person office in London. They had some really prestigious guys working there. So I'm on a flight back. Like, I made it very public that I'm on a 10-hour flight from London. There was no Wi-Fi on the flight. Like, everyone I work with knew I was on the flight. And, you know, I get back. I'm going through customs. My phone turns on. I have, like, 4,000 notifications, 20 missed calls, call me, emergency, call me, all these voicemails. And I look on Twitter, look at my messages. Everyone's like, we don't want to work with you anymore. We don't want anything to do with you. And I'm just, like, waking up from a flight, like, whoa. And then I went and looked at what happened. That crypto medicated guy was just blowing up. And it was tough. It was very tough.
So how do you get through that? Like, that's a pretty crazy experience.
It was probably the worst experience I've had in my life so far. It was like 3 or 4 months, really, of just nonstop hate, you know, immediately I had to deal with all of the people that I worked with, and I was being hacked at the same time. That'll be my next story. That's the one I haven't told before. So it was just a lot of shit going on, and like I said, it took months for me to recover from that. I'm still, like, to this day, I would say, recovering from that whole situation.
How do you feel like you've come out of it now?
I would say the last 2 months are the first 2 months where I've really been, like, back working, getting comfortable again, you know, actually trying to build things rather than just, you know, being upset.
So what did you do in the meantime? Like, where did you go? Like, we were talking a little bit pre-show where you were like, I didn't disappear.
Well, immediately after, everyone thought I disappeared, but really, someone hacked me.
So this will get into your real life REKT. So let's
now let's get into my real life REKT.
Yeah,
So let me just go back to that. I'm just getting through customs. Everyone's freaking out at me. Next day, I wake up. I'm getting all of these crazy alerts. Someone had access to my Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, all of my photos, my desktop computer. And they were like, listen, send me 100 Ethereum or I'm going to leak every picture on your phone to your whole mailing list. And I was like, no, you don't have shit. And then they started sending me the pictures. So they had some pictures from, like, my Snapchat. And keep in mind, I was just in college. Like, I'm only 23. There was...
So, like Snapchat.
there was, like, some videos on there that I definitely didn't want released. Not even of me. I was more worried about my friends. Like, sure. I have videos of my friends doing shit. You know, we were... Yeah. Like I said, we were just in college.
Right.
So, like I said, just Snapchat.
I'm in my mid-30s. I still act like I'm in college. It's okay. You don't want to see my Snapchat
exactly.
either.
So I'm freaking out. Like, I thought someone was just messing with me, but then I get locked out of every single one of my social media accounts except Twitter, which is why people thought I was lying, because I somehow had Twitter on an email that they didn't get access to, because I got access to my 3 main emails. Luckily, I didn't lose money. Like, my crypto was very safe, but I definitely did not have good enough security. Otherwise, it turned out. And, you know, after going through it, like, reverse engineering how they got it, some of these places just reset your accounts like it's nothing. So once they had some of my emails, it was over. Like, they could reset any accounts linked to those emails. So not only is he saying that he's going to leak information, I have another guy, like, threatening me. He has my address. They leaked my passport photo. I'm, like, full-on freak out mode. And this is on top of everything else. Right. And I'm not talking about this with anyone because... like, I'm already dealing with enough shit. I don't need to say, "Oh, I'm being hacked." Like people are just. I said something about being hacked.
That's the go-to response too. So it's like the timing is bad.
Right.
Timing was bad. So this guy's my address. I'm like freaking out. I go out of town. Don't tell anyone where I'm going. Got a new phone. Turned off my other phone because I thought that he was somehow getting access through my phone. Basically, I'm out of town like 7 days just trying to negotiate with this guy, trying to find someone that can, do something for me, like a good hacker. What are they called? White hat hacker.
White hats, yeah, sure.
And I'm just like in Miami hiding.
I don't mean to laugh.
I know it's like a funny. When I look back, it's a funny story. But man, was I scared! Like for my life, like just like getting threats to me and my family, and the fact that he knew where I lived. Picture my passport.
So how did all that get resolved? Like what happened?
I found someone that was a good hacker, and turns out the guy that was attacking me was not the greatest hacker.
Really?
And I think they gave him a pretty good scare. As soon as they said should be done talking to you, like that was it. I don't want to know what they did. I don't know what they did. It just ended there.
Wow.
And then I went back home to Chicago, and then I had to deal with everything else.
Dang.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a story, man. Like, that is nuts. And I'll be completely honest, when all that stuff came out, I was like, okay, and my opinion of you was not fantastic.
Oh, no one's opinion of me was fantastic at the time. It was just funny because I was one of the only people that wasn't like charging money for things. Everything I did was free. You had no pressure to buy anything that I bought, even if we were trying to raise the price. Like that's on you.
Right.
That's just you buying it. Obviously, that sounds bad, but like when it comes down to it, I've never charged money for anything I do for a reason. Like if you want to follow my trades, that's 100% your own risk. I'm sure you see all those disclaimers. Not an investment advisor. And everything.
We call it financial advice.
Yeah, it's only for fun.
Financial.
Financial advice. Yeah.
I'm actually finally I'm gonna get my license to give financial advice, and I have a project in the works right now. So that's something to look forward to.
That's awesome. I mean, I will say. So I have been doing some like learning of my own, and one of the things that I have just listened to is I don't know if either of you are aware of JW Weatherman on Twitter. He is a Bitcoin maximalist. He was just on Pete McCormick's What Bitcoin Did, and he put out this course, and the course is called 10 Hours of Bitcoin, I believe. And it's basically if you were to send somebody who's just learning about Bitcoin and financial markets to one place for them to spend 10 hours of like learning, and he puts this all together, right? And one of the things he talks about is speculation and what speculation is, and he defines it very clearly. And he says one of the key things to be good at speculation is to have some knowledge of what you're doing that nobody else has. And so when you're telling me this story, that's your speculative knowledge, is Coin Signals coming to you and saying, hey, look, here's what I know, and I want you guys to be involved. And that's knowledge that nobody has, and that is normal speculative knowledge. This happens every single fucking day, anywhere you look, whether it's oil, anything like that. And so, the fact that the conversations come out and they are made to look like pretty bad, I get it. I mean, it looks fucking terrible, and I will be.
Oh, there's no doubt about that.
Yeah, but I mean, look, there's nobody that like the theory that insider trading is, doesn't go on is crazy. That's how people make.
It's just
money.
trading.
Yeah, it's trading. It's the same thing. Oh, I got a hot tip on a horse. Sure, okay, I will bet on this horse.
Exactly. It's also like I got all the heat for it everyone else was in the conversation. Obviously, it was because I was one of the first people to comment on it. But like, I got.
Plus, you have the iconic line. I mean,
yeah,
the line could be on a goddamn T-shirt.
it's probably gonna be the name of a documentary. But yeah, so like I was on the plane and it all blew up before I could even do anything about it. So it's not like I had any defense. Like my defense was done. I missed that time period.
Sure.
And so the story was written, and I was like, how do I just like apologize and try and come back from it? Because like that's it. I missed my chance to defend it. If you go back and look at it from the actual way it was set up, where Coin Signal's coming and saying he has this great coin, and us talking as friends, completely different. But when you read it with the article, I look like an asshole. There's just no doubt.
But wasn't the coin Haven?
Yeah, it was Haven Protocol, wasn't it?
And
which did
didn't
like
they
a 20x.
just have a whole fucking scam thing too?
Yeah, so that Haven actually ended up doing a 20x
from that time.
The time of that conversation to the breakout it just happened.
So it would have been a great investment anyway.
It was a great.
Nobody talks about that, do they?
No. And then Haven started pumping, and everyone's giving me shit, and I'm like, it was a good coin.
Right.
But it pumped, and then like one of the lead devs left, and he announced in Discord, and everyone dumped, and then the CEO came, and he's like, "No, just kidding, he didn't quit."
Yeah.
We just
we're talking about this on an episode a couple of weeks ago, but yeah, I mean, look, I think I hope that you've been able to kind of like get your way through it, because it sounds like a rough fucking situation.
I'm not kidding. It took me 8 months. I would say until December. Like I was in a very bad mentality, like horrible mood, really, because the market was crashing. On top of all of that, it was just like a really depressing time. And up until probably December, like I couldn't get through it.
Yeah, man. Well, look, I appreciate you coming on and talking about it, because it's it's something that I personally hadn't heard you talk about much, but so I think it's awesome, and I really do hope that people can understand what it was like to go through and understand your situation, and I feel like you're contrite about the whole thing. I mean,
I'm a very honest guy. No one's really asked me about it. I talked about it on one other podcast really briefly, but they like didn't even want to ask me questions. Like, ask me any question, I'll answer. I'm a very honest guy.
It's funny. I was before when Chamber said you were coming on, I'm like, can we ask about this stuff or no? And so, but anyway, again, like we said, I'll move on now. I appreciate you sharing. It's really important, I think, that you get to tell your side of the story, and I think it's a pretty crazy, interesting journey that I hope will, just lead to your future success. But in the meantime here, we are going to get to some news. Chamber, buddy, start us off with a little bit of news.
All right. Jamie Dimon, big shot, big shot at JP Morgan Chase, introduces the JPM coin. This guy's obviously on the record talking shit about Bitcoin, yet I think they're creating the Ripple killer, maybe. I'm not sure. I think that's what this is. So
what's the deal with this thing? Do you know much about it?
So I know a little bit about it.
Yeah, what do you got?
So from my understanding, it's not going to be a Ripple killer because it's going to be a private chain, so it's just going to be used by JP Morgan for settlements. So they're trying to, save on some fees and save time, which is obviously money. So it's going to just be their own private chain, and I think that this is going to be something really common popping up. You're going to have a lot of big companies trying to use private chains to just, speed up their operations, make them more transparent, and obviously cheaper, because money is the key.
It's interesting. I mean, to me, it's almost like a non-factor, except for the fact that it gives cryptocurrency and digital assets a like validation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, considering
who is this actually? Yeah, I mean, who is it a threat to? It's probably not. It's definitely not a threat to Bitcoin. It's probably maybe sort of maybe not a Ripple threat, but it's interesting. I mean, it gives somebody who has said fuck Bitcoin, fuck crypto. Now they're going back and doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's so my first thoughts when I saw that, and I tweeted, I said, this probably means the bottom is in. You have someone who has publicly said that Bitcoin and crypto are a scam, now near what a lot of people have called the bottom, coming out and saying that they are going to use blockchain. You know, I wouldn't even consider their private chain crypto. It's more of just blockchain. The second part, back to what we were talking about being a contrarian, I'm seeing all this shit about Ripple. It's going to zero. It's going to zero. I think it's gonna pump.
It might. I mean, it kind of gives validation to.
Yeah, this is only only a Ripple killer within J.P. Morgan Chase. It's not an Ethereum.
Exactly.
Right?
And I think a lot of banks. I mean, obviously, if J.P. Morgan successfully do this, you're going to see a lot of companies doing it, making their own private chain. So to me, it does get rid of the need for a lot of altcoins. But like you said, it just reinforces that this tech can actually speed up payments. It can actually make things cheaper. And you have companies worth hundreds of billions of dollars that are implementing blockchain. You know, some of these coins are going to have tremendous value. They're going to be the Googles, the Amazons, the Facebooks. And then you're going to have a lot of Netscapes.
Yeah, and I think that's interesting. And personally, the more and more I think about it, the more and more I lean towards Bitcoin being one of the only things I want to actually put my money into because of exactly that. I'm not sure I personally know how to pick them well enough to decide what's what. You know what I mean?
Yeah, see, I agree with you. I think Ethereum's losing a lot of its value from this. Because obviously after ICOs and after faster and cheaper transactions, Ethereum, the dApps aren't really great. So I think Ethereum's losing a ton of value here because people really used Ethereum to send money. Like, if I wanted to send money between exchanges, I use Ethereum or Litecoin. Bitcoin, obviously, first mover advantage, digital gold, that's always going to be probably a sound investment. But I think that something's going to overtake Ethereum unless the scaling happens a lot faster. Because you have some of these new coins, probably something that no one's even heard of. They're going to take market share. You know, we're in the U.S. and Canada, and obviously a lot of this development's going on in Asia. There's probably some really big coins with major backing that we've never even heard about that are significantly better than Ethereum and people are building on.
Yeah, and I think that's very interesting. Meanwhile, Ethereum's pumping through the roof right this second.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. We'll see. All right, my news story here. Coin Mama breach exposes 450,000 users. Chamber, before I even start here, we should start Coin Papa.
Yeah. By the way,
I'm pretty sure
my track record in crypto is very awful. I have a Coin Mama account.
Oh God!
I had a Quadriga X. I had a Quadriga SCX account. Okay, I'm going to tell you a little story about me and Gat as well. Gat probably doesn't know this, but when I first started, you know, the people that listened, I got introduced to crypto through BitConnect and some other maybe not as popular pyramid schemes, but pyramid schemes nonetheless. And when I, you know, got my head clear with that, I moved on to crypto YouTube, which we all know what that is. And then
well, depending on the timing of crypto YouTube, you could have done really well.
It wasn't the right timing.
I'm thinking of like Z Classic.
No.
Timing,
this,
like,
yeah, this would have been like late December, January YouTube. You know,
right at the end.
Right at the end, right at the top buying YouTube. You know what I mean? And then in January I got into crypto Twitter. I started following guys like yourself and Birch, Jake, and some of these guys, and I'm like, I started following, so I'm like, okay, these guys, I felt more confident than I'd ever felt in crypto, And sure enough, we had what happened, the unfortunate incident with yourself. And I'm like, no, I think I'm cursing these people at every turn. Everything that I get involved with gets cursed. And it happened to Quadriga CX, and now it's happening to Coin Mama. Hasn't happened to the show yet, but Bunchu, just a heads up, I may carry a crypto curse.
That's okay. I mean, look, I'm not the luckiest guy ever either. So
I don't think any of us feel lucky after 2018.
That is very, very true. So here we go. Coin Mama, more than 450,000 users had their email addresses and passwords exposed in a wide-ranging security breach that included other sites like MyFitnessPal. Interesting.
Also have that too, by the way.
MyFitnessPal in the past. Yeah, I've used that in the past. I don't have it anymore. Son of a bitch. Wow. The official statement of the exchange disclosed that 450,000 email addresses and passwords were leaked in a massive global hacking attack involving 24 websites and some 747 million users. So, this story, we did not pick this on purpose, Gat, but you had your emails breached, so you feel the pain here.
Yep.
What advice might you give others?
Well, you need to secure more than just your crypto. You need 2FA on absolutely everything. I don't care if it's some small website. If they offer 2FA, just put it on. Because these days your password isn't safe.
No.
Like I don't care how complex your password is with keyloggers and shit. Your password isn't safe. As of now, the safest way to secure things is 2FA through an app or one of those YubiKeys, like physical 2FA. So just it's annoying to do. It's so annoying every time you log into something, but it is so worth it. I could have avoided so many problems in my life just by securing everything. I had my crypto secure because that's all you really think about. But there's so much more than that. Malicious people
put
can
you
get
in a
into
position where you
something
were
and
worried that your whole basically digital life was going to be at risk.
Yeah, it was very scary. So
Yeah.
put 2FA on everything.
Especially
I
if
could put it
you're
on my apartment. I could put 2FA on my apartment door.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you're a, personality in the space, or just if you're involved in crypto, like think about all the other people that are involved in crypto. Think about their backgrounds and where they come from. They are probably much better at tech and hacking and OPSEC than you are. I personally know that for sure because I have no experience in that shit. So I have to make sure that I'm at least somewhat secure. But I'm probably open to all this stupid shit too. It's just crazy.
I didn't even realize how much of a target I was because everything just happened so fast. Honestly, there was so much euphoria. I was spread out between so many different jobs, working essentially like helping with analysis. And I was an advisor for some startups. So everything just happened like that. I don't even remember that whole build up to like December 2017. And then by the time all that stuff happened, I was just lost in everything going on.
Yeah, it's crazy. And it just to close out this article here, it says, 747 million records across the 24 websites, but unique to CoinMama was the potential for users who had not enabled two-factor authentication to have their funds stolen. So it sounds like most of these websites didn't have funds associated with them, except for CoinMama, who obviously is trying to at least protect users' funds, which is interesting. So, all right, that's going to do it for the news for us. We're going to get into some more fun stuff here with some Would You Rather. So, Gat, we like to mess around and throw out, we do a lot of crypto content and then we like to have some fun. So I do this thing where I throw out some surveys every Sunday and poll the audience essentially on some would you rather questions. So we're going to ask them to you. So question number 1, would you rather forget who you are every time it rains, or never be able to remember why you walked into a room? Now talk us through your thought process here.
I would definitely rather not being able to remember what I'm doing when I walk in a room. If I forgot who I was actually, I don't know. I could just move to somewhere where it never rained, and then I never have to really deal with forgetting who I am.
So that's interesting. I had a couple comments on there saying that. This one from at Parpart Sean, rain, then move to Arizona. That's the comment there.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with him on that. That doesn't sound too bad. Just have like a restart and then move somewhere it never rains.
See, I went the other way. Because I'm already, I'm getting old. I'm already going into rooms and forgetting why I went in there, and it drives me insane. So I would rather forget who I am every time it rains, because then you can just.
But what are the consequences?
That's what I'm saying. Like so it stops raining, then I remember who I am. Is that how it's going to work?
I would guess.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't clarify any further.
I think I can handle that. So you're on an adventure in the rain. You're like, I don't know who I am. I don't.
I feel like the amount of drugs you do. It's like
I do a lot of drugs.
Every time it rains, you're just on a crazy
Yeah, exactly.
Right, exactly. You have experience with that. Yeah. I don't. I would not. I'm like a shaman. To forget. Yeah. See, I'm thinking I would be with Gat here. Well, I think I would do the room thing because I feel like it wouldn't be that hard to pick up from context why you walked into a room. Like, I keep thinking of this in terms of like a business meeting, right? And if I walked in and I didn't know why I was there, like you could just ask a couple questions and figure it out, right?
Imagine walking into like a surprise birthday.
That would be good.
They go surprise, you go, why am I here?
It's raining outside. Who am I?
Who am I? All right, question number 2, Gat. Here we go. Now, I've seen this happen a couple times on Twitter, especially crypto Twitter in the last couple days. It seemed like boneless wings, this is a statement, true or false. Boneless wings are just expensive chicken nuggets, true or false?
So true, but they're good.
They are good.
Yeah, they're great, but they're just...
I like chicken nuggets more.
I like a good chicken nugget.
Yeah, I mean... So let's talk this through. Chamber, what's the fucking difference between a boneless wing and an expensive chicken nugget?
No, that's what I'm saying. I agree. Like that a boneless wing is just a expensive chicken nugget, but I prefer them. I actually
expensive chicken nugget covered in sauce.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, that's what it is. So Crypto Euclid, our buddy Yuki, said he made the caveat. He just said the sauce is just baked in.
That was off of one of my tweets really too. When difference.
Yeah, that's where I got the inspiration.
Where I said that ranch and blue cheese were the exact same sauce?
Yeah, first of all, that's fucking dumb. Hold on. Did people agree with you or no?
I just like triggering people, and that absolutely triggered a lot of people.
It triggered me. I was sitting here with my buttermilk ranch, using it as shampoo, as I'm one to do.
See, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of either.
I was triggered.
So to me, they're the same.
Ranch and blue cheese really confuses me. Like, what if there was something that looked exactly like ketchup that they would sometimes bring out instead of ketchup?
That's a really great point.
Like it pisses, I don't eat ranch or blue cheese, but they look the exact same. I can't tell the difference. Sometimes I'm just, I can't tell the difference. If someone brought me out fake ketchup and I wanted ketchup, I'd be pissed.
Yeah. Yo, that's actually a really good point. I never thought of it from like if you mix it up from another perspective, like two things that are yellow like mustard or whatever.
And they taste all the time they bring people out the wrong ranch or blue cheese. So,
That's crazy. That's interesting. Good point. That's a point for Gat there. All right, and the last one I have here, which I personally find egregious. Would you rather be framed for a murder you didn't commit, or frame your best friend for a murder you committed?
Who's framing me for the murder?
I mean, you're getting framed for a murder, and I would imagine you're going to jail.
We'll say random person.
Yeah, it's not your best friend that's framing you. So it's not like you get them back with framing them instead.
I could so easily frame someone for a murder, but I wouldn't be able to live with myself. Like, living with myself after that, if it was actually my best friend, I think it would be almost worse than living in jail.
So, Chamber, what do you got
See,
here?
I recycle best friends every 5 years.
So my time is limited, essentially, is what you're saying.
You better hope I don't commit a murder.
You have just given a shelf life to the podcast.
5 years.
Thank
Hey,
you
if we can
very
make it
much.
5 years, I'll be happy with that.
I
Getting...
cannot live with guilt. I do not like doing people wrong.
See, I don't want to go to jail. Yeah, I wouldn't do well in the clink.
If I was framed, like with technology these days, I feel like it's way more difficult to get framed. I would take the chance of me not
and like getting unframed while in prison.
Murder. Yeah, like there would be no evidence.
Yeah, so this is my favorite comment. One, I'm going to do 2 shout-outs on this tweet. My buddy, @CryptoAtNight, as soon as I posted this, he commented underneath it, easy peasy, and he was the only singular vote at the time, and he voted to do the framing. So you know where he stands. You don't be best friends with Crypto at Night. And then my second favorite here was from, I don't even know how to pronounce this, @double_ink_Zazu. OPSEC test. The B-framed people have more self-confidence, higher IQ, and forward thinking. They're smart enough to get out of being framed. If framing a friend, you're guaranteed he's fucked. Which I thought was really interesting. Not a way I thought of it before.
Now, I have a would you rather for you. Since we were talking about Fire Festival before, would you rather have worked for Fire Festival and gone through all that, or would you rather have worked for the scammiest ICO ever?
So it's interesting you say this. We actually asked. So this is going to be a little teaser to our Thursday show. So this show is coming out today on Tuesday, and we interviewed Mark Weinstein, who was in the Fire Festival documentary. He's also the principal at Wave Financial, which is a crypto investment and crypto investment firm. So we asked him, what's the fucking difference, basically? Chamber, what do you think?
I want to go to that Fire Festival. I don't care how shitty it was.
No, but would you rather be involved
absolutely. Yeah, there's no documentary. There's no documentary for some shitty ICO. I don't get to meet Joe Rule. Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
Yeah, not yet is right.
There's gonna be. I saw Netflix was making something on altcoins.
Really? Okay, well.
Yeah, there's so much gold in there. There's definitely gonna be.
It has to be, right?
On ICOs.
But that Fire Festival doc was pretty awesome. And you're in the Bahamas the whole time. I don't know.
Yeah, but I think you're thinking about it the wrong way. It's like, which would cause you greater guilt?
I don't feel.
I'm talking about like that guy that was about to go and suck a dick to get.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's commitment.
Like you were just like fully stressed out for months of your life, like knowing everything's gonna still hooked into it.
Yeah, I don't know.
That guy's never going to live that exact statement down.
Yeah.
By the way.
I think he's the realest person I've ever seen.
100%.
Oh, it was fantastic.
That is the kind of guy I hope to work with in my life.
It's our boy Andy. Andy, listening.
Shout out to Andy.
We'd love to have you on the show. I think I would rather. I'm also going to answer Fire Festival. I feel like there's an extra special shitty stigma for a scamming ICO that, like, people from the Fire Festival.
At least they're trying to do something.
That's going to be like cult following. Like, Fire Festival is going to go down in history as like this cult following. A scamming ICO, like Paragon or whatever, like that's going to be forgotten. And I would rather be remembered than forgotten, I think. But anyway, all right. So that's going to do it for us here. Gat, I've had a wonderful time talking to you. I have to admit, when I saw that stuff, wasn't a huge fan. You've changed my mind. So we appreciate you coming on the show.
The dozens of people that listen will also probably have their minds.
All dozens of them.
Maybe we can get it up to 100. I'm going to tweet it out. I want people to hear my side of the story because I've never talked about it.
No, that's amazing. And we really do appreciate you actually coming on and opening up and talking about it because, we do have a couple hundred like at least 1,000.
Yeah, we guarantee at least 1,000
people
listens.
Yeah, that's the best we can do. Then it's up to you to share it.
No, see, thank you guys for inviting me. I got that message and I was like, I haven't been on a podcast in a while. I had absolutely.
And we did this was last minute, so thank you very much for being flexible too. That's awesome. We'll have to have you on, during when we're really in alt season and we need some real TA done. We'll have you back on.
All right, and so last thing here, we want to give you a platform here to tell people how to find you, what you're working on, anything like that. The floor is yours.
Yeah, so if you want to find me, Twitter, Telegram, Twitter is twitter.com/the Gem Club. You can find my Telegram group in there. All the content I put out right now is absolutely free. I've got about 12,000 people. I post in there way too much, people say, but I keep an active trading log. January was pretty good. Averaged about 4% gain per trade. This month so far, we're at about 2% gain per trade. So come check it out. Nothing to lose. It's absolutely free. That
2% and 4% seems actually like realistic, as opposed to people who are out there saying they get 150% per trade.
Yeah, all my wins and losses are on there. There's some pretty ugly losses, but the winners have been outweighing the losses, and a lot of people were talking shit about my trading, and now I have every single trade. I post it in the Telegram group, timestamp and everything. Have it in a doc, so it's funny, since I started keeping this, no one's really talked shit about my trading.
Well, that's good.
Isn't that the way?
It's been a lot more fun.
You have the receipts.
Yeah, I'm like, show 'em, do the same thing as me. If you're outperforming me, I will, I'll buy a little picture of you and I'll put it on my desk. I don't want to say that because there's people out there doing way better than me, so that's bad.
Well, I was just going to say, Chamber, now we have a challenge. We could get this is how you get a picture of us on GAT's
All right, I like it.
If you guys send me a little picture, I will keep
exciting.
it here. I got a picture of, what's his name, Ian Bellina over on my kitchen counter. Not even kidding, his six-figure slave one. That was really moving to me. So I bought a picture of it.
That's fantastic. Hey, man, again, we really appreciate it. Chamber, any final words before we go?
No, this is a great one. Again, just thanks for coming on. That was and obviously appreciate the honesty. I think that's the big one.
Totally
to go through that and to talk about that very high character. So we really appreciate that.
For sure. Yeah. Awesome. So check out GAT, check out the Gem Club, and don't forget to check out us, Apple Podcasts. Give us a rate, a review, all that fun stuff goes a long way. Join us in our Telegram at t.me REKT_podcast. Follow us on Twitter at REKT_podcast. And we have just revived the Instagram, which we are at REKT Podcast. Now that I figured out how to do these cool video clips, that's perfect for Instagram. So follow us there. And Chamber, any other last words there?
Check us out on Patreon. All right, we got to keep this machine going. We need gas for the engine. All right, so hop on there.
We need gas.
Yeah.
And we're not talking about Gwei
or NeoGas. We want Bitcoin. We want Ethereum. We want the goods. All right. So there's some.
They want the real stuff.
So there's tiers. Check out the tiers. Monthly subscriptions are there. You can do just a nice, one-time, donation if you choose to. But check it out. It's pretty cool. And help us put out more quality shows for you guys.
Hell yeah. So that's going to do it for us, for Chamber. And, we haven't had Cynthia yet this week. So Cynthia has been dealing with some family issues. So we give our best and thoughts and prayers to Cynthia and her family. And until next time, don't get wrecked. And that is financial advice.